Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Saturday session. But before we start the whole journey, let me do Ganesh mantra to start with, and then Kali, and then Chinnamasta, and then Kamakya. Shri Harim Klim Glam Gan Ganapadaye Namaham Om Shri Harim Klim Glam Gan Ganapadaye Namaham Om Shri Harim Klim Glam Gan Ganapadaye Namaham. The next is Mother Kali. Krim 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 Harim Harim Hum Dakshani Kalike Krim 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 Harim Harim Hum Swaha Krim 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 Harim Harim Hum Dakshani Kalike Krim Krim Swaha Krim 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 Harim Harim Hum Dakshanina Kalike Krim 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 Harim Harim Hum Swaha Om Krim 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 Harim Harim Hum Dakshani Kalike Krim 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 Harim Harim Hum Swaha. The next mantra is for Chinnamasta. Om Shrim Harim Harim I'm Vajravairocini Hum Pat Swaha Om Shrim Harim Harim I'm Vajravairocini Hum Pat Swaha Om Shrim Harim Harim I'm Vajravairocini Hum Pat Swaha. The next mantra I want to do actually is Kamakya mantra with a difference. Here with Kamakya mantra, I'm going to bring in Bhuvaneshwari and Kamalamika as well. So you go Om Kareem 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 Shreem Kamakya Devi Swaha Om Harim Kleem Shreem Kleem Kamakya Devi Swaha Om Harim Kleem Shreem Kleem Kamakya Devi Swaha. Good evening, everybody. Welcome today to a nice, beautiful session again. Today, what I'd like you all to do is just each one take a turn and ask me questions so I can answer those questions. Because otherwise, you find that I'm doing all the talking without you participating in it. And then she embraces him and he does the mantras like I've done just now. So that there is a circular movement of the magical mantras between the male and the female. It's sort of a way you try to bring union of the spirits together. See, normally what we have is this, like in the West, when they talk about Yabyum, they talk about more in terms of sexual union. And in a lot of literatures, if you type Yabyum, they always translate that to sexual. In reality, it's the union of male and female. It's a divine union.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Blessings and greetings. I found you through my godmother, Aja Shah. I'm so lucky.
Okay.
I've been wanting to take classes from you, and coming into 2022, wanting to do Sacred Womb course, and I've been watching some of your videos on YouTube just when I'm around the house, and I'm so grateful to be on the call. and I'm just overjoyed.
Ah, good. I do every Saturdays. I'm sure she told you that. I'm doing this whole process every Saturdays. People
Yes.
can come and talk to me and ask questions and discuss topics like today. Yabyum is the main topic that I last week and today.
He teaches about the meditations.
Because there's a lot of interpretation of Yabyum.
Very wise man.
Can I have one person talking at a time?
No, he lives in India. He's rich. I guess whatever you consider rich. He's rich because he has a lot of
Greetings,
wisdom.
beloved. Greetings. Can you please mute your line?
Greetings. Now, when we talk about Yabyum, we're talking about the union of the male and female energy within us and also between the partner and self. Okay, it is a union of the chakras rather than the genitals. But in a lot of places, they translate it because the images you see, when it's genital union, you find a different image. But the image you find on this particular one is basically a union of the male and female energetic fields. So it's basic. You can have Yabyum within yourself. You can have Yabyum with a partner. Now, when you have a Yabyum with a partner, the main intention is to feel the spirit making love rather than the physical itself. That's why when you're together, you don't gaze eyes, but you do mantras so that the mantra will awaken the energy of the spirit of your partner and then awaken your spirit as well. Generally, the man does the mantras and the women receive the mantras because they are the one that can magnify the energy because they are carriers of energy. They can carry, they can transport energy better than what men can do. Because the reason why women are potent in this journey is because you are blessed for being with motherhood. Being blessed with motherhood means that you have a womb and you have a breast. One is to create, to give a passageway to a soul, and then when the soul comes into this world, to nurture the soul. So for that reason, you're wiring inside of you. It's a lot more stronger and a lot more connected. With you, from the third eye right down to your base chakra, it's very well connected because you also channel the energy of, you have to be open to channel the energy of the soul, come into your womb, and then also bring in the information that the soul needs to have to develop into a full child. So there's a whole process that happens, and a woman's body is made in such a way that it's connected to the universal moon. That is why the woman sits in quietly, just meditating and listening to the sound. And the sound is sent through the woman's body, and then it comes back into the male body. The best way of practicing this is to be dressed very lightly between partners, so you can feel the genitals, but you don't engage the genitals. Like a lot of times when you hear people that talk about engagement of the genitals, here, what you want, if you want the second chakra to become more active, then you allow the second chakra to awaken. Because when the second chakra awakens, you feel the energy within you. It's sort of, it's magical. And it's better to go for magic than gratification. Generally speaking, a lot of people are into gratification. They like instant, like taking instant noodles. Give it to me now, give it to me now. The question, but the now, if you go for the now, then the full body and the full growth would not be experienced. I'm not saying you don't have sex with your partner, but I'm saying when you practice Yabyum, the initial practice should be to bring the energy together and experience the spirit of each other. You never get that in any other practice. By having sex with your partner, you're not going to get the same experience. You get momental experience. You may feel one together with each other, but it's still you experiencing that connection. The other person is experiencing a connection, but it's not the spirit that's experiencing the connection. Because when the spirit experiences the connection, it lingers on for weeks. You don't need to have, always being reminded, I love you, and always having to make love with each other. The essence of being together with someone gives you that really beautiful sensual feeling that you don't need to be gratified. So this whole process takes two parts. One is where you actually do the practice, and then you can still do your love making as usual, as long as you keep it to a very graceful way of making love, rather than this aggressive form of sexual union. Because when your sexual union has two faults, okay? One, you want the genitals to be involved because you like to feel that you're connected, but you need to get to the stage where you actually feel the connection. So it's got to be a gentle, slow, and progressive way of making love. Now, for all of this to be possible, one of the fundamental things that we need to do is hygiene. A lot of people, especially in the West, you don't have a douche unless you're in Italy, and you don't have a tap, which is accessible for the toilet. So when you go, you use toilet papers instead of washing. And then instead of using cloth to wipe, you use a toilet paper, which is chemically created. Even if they say natural materials and all that, it is still processed. There is an essence of putting them together to make them into a paper. So I don't know to what extent they can be hygienic. But a cloth, you use it, you wash it, you use it again. But you need to keep your genitals absolutely clean. Because in that way, you can keep it healthy. And when the genitals are healthy, the energy flows much more easily. For a woman, the power of your being is your womb. And your genitals are the gateway to the womb. Okay, it's not just the genitals that, a lot of people, there's a lot of women who don't even want to see their genitals. And I know a lot of people, I've met a lot of people who have two towels, one for the upper part of the body and one for the lower part, because they consider the genitals dirty. The genitals are not dirty. They're just like, as your mouth is sometimes, you put a lot more things in your mouth than in your genitals. It's like another mouth. The yoni is like another mouth. It is very sacred. It's very pure, very divine. So you need to learn to respect it, care for it, and keep it clean. Keep it always hygienic clean, because it takes a lot of energy to keep it not to get sick fast. Because you can get infected. A lot of women get infected. A lot of womb problem is a very common thing these days. And this is one of the reasons why. So if you want to be a tantric, if you want to go in this journey, first and foremost, for women, this is advice from you do not shave your pubic hair, because that's a protection. It protects the gateway to the womb. It's like a forest that protects the gateway to the womb. It is a gateway to the womb, not anything. It's very, very sacred, the most sacred. So then you have to learn to do mantras that would awaken. First, you need to get rid of all the emotional memories that are in the womb. Because as long as there's emotional memories within the cells of the womb, the problem of the womb becoming sick in various forms are great, especially fibroids. Then you have, which is worse, is tumor, or, fibroids, and then the other one is where you have infections. And then when the worst comes, tumor, and then cancer. They're all very common. So it's, in Tantra, it teaches you, because I'm talking about the vagina a lot, because in Tantra, in Yabyum, in the sacred union, the woman is the most important actor. She is the energy. She's the creative force. She's Shakti. Okay, in Tantra they say, without Shakti, there is no Shiva. Without a woman, there's no life. Okay, you're the one that brings life to this world. Without Shiva, Shakti is incomplete. That means without that one drop, you never become a mother. So without Shakti, without Shiva, Shakti is incomplete. Without Shakti, there is no Shiva. Without her energy, the male energy is not very potent. So you have a very great responsibility and influence in the lives of men. And as women, you need to empower yourself. This is a very crucial time, because the patriarchal society is virtually destroying the world. I mean, they are creating wars everywhere. I mean, funny, like China, you would imagine they would be happy with all the money they make, that they wouldn't create a war. I mean, within a short period, they became the second richest country in the world. Instead of maintaining that and growing further and further, they decide to also create wars. They like to have the same type of power America has. So that is one thing. Then the coronavirus, making sure that everybody vaccinates. I mean, they don't even know how good the vaccination is and whether it works. One. Number two, now they're even trying to have boosters shots. It breaks down your immune system. So basically what it does is this reduces your immune system. I don't know about, I mean, there's a lot of talks about a lot of other issues that I'm not even interested. I'm interested in the immune system and what it's going to do to our generations to come. So as women, you control the energy that we men need. We depend on you. So the question here is this, and the generations to come depend on you. So you have to empower yourself so that you can regain, have a bigger say in how the world is to progress into the next millennium. At the moment, you don't have, because you need to go back. You need to empower yourself. Find grace, that inner beauty in you. That inner beauty that no man can resist. It's not your physical beauty I'm talking about. I'm talking about the inner beauty, that grace in you that makes you really special. That is what you want to awaken. And the only way of awakening is this, that it's still available in the world today, is mantras. India, like all the old religions from a lot of parts of the world, have disappeared. There are people who are trying to revive some parts of it. But fortunately, the Tantric tradition, they've kept the old teachings because it was passed down by word of mouth. And no one religion has ever been able to conquer the whole of India and convert all of them. It's still spoiled. Templalism still has spoiled that spiritual essence, the science of Tantra. Because shamans are tantrics, the Wiccas are tantrics, they're all called different names. But principally, they're all the same. They know the sound, they know how to use sound, they know how to activate energy within use of sound. So what I'm offering here is all of you to discover that sound and use that sound to grow.
Vanakam Babaji, it's Aja.
Vanakam, darling, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you as always. I just wanted to thank you for these offerings and your time. And I wanted to greet all the sisters that I see on from Goddess Temple. And I just wanted to encourage them to ask any questions that they may have, because they have experienced some of your magic through me. And I always share with them that as they come to the course and they learn and they receive, that it is through that grace from the Divine Mother that has been imparted, and that wisdom through you, and the real power of those mantras and the sound that it has to really awaken us on a cellular level. So I just wanted to encourage them to ask any questions that they may have, and that any question is not, there are no stupid questions, there are no silly questions, and any questions that you might have even outside the realm of Yab Yum today and what Babaji has shared. I wanted to, with some of the languaging, I wanted to also offer to them that when we mention the cleanliness and when you use the word douche, that also just means to wash, because in the West, there's these chemical-filled products that are pushed. And I don't want them to think that you were referring to that, because sometimes the languaging can be different. So and that means to shower and to wash. And so I wanted to clarify for them that that's what you were referring to.
No chemical.
Yes, and not the internal chemical washes that are pushed here.
Oh, no.
Yes, and so I know that. I wanted to make sure they knew that as well. And I just wanted to thank you, Babaji, and give you some love and encourage the other women to ask any questions that they may have, because I do see many of the sisters on from Goddess Temple.
Yeah. Okay, someone has raised their hand. Lina.
Greetings, Babaji. I have a question. I was writing some notes down about Yabyum, and I have a question when it comes to if you don't have a partner, and if you're single. Right now, I'm single, but I definitely still want to experience the Yabyum. Is it still experiencing spirit through lovemaking with self in a way as well?
Yep, you can do. You don't need. Yabyum is for couples. Okay. When it comes to singles, you can actually activate the energy on your own. It's basically to bring the male and female energy, the father and mother energy within your body. Okay, the male and female, or sun and moon. So basically, what you do is this: when you're doing you can invoke the energy of the sun by using the sound. So you close one side of your mouth in the beginning when you're practicing, your left side, and then you do only the right side. You go. You send the sound down the right side. Then you can do the left side, you close the right side, and you go. Shreem. 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 You do that for as many times as you can. So you just bring in the sun and bring in the moon energy and let them move through your whole body. That is basically, it's still the same. It's about your own sexuality. And it's good if you're single, because then you prepare yourself before you get into a relationship. Because a lot of people get into a relationship, as I always say, to get a car, to drive a car, you need a license. You got to study how to drive. To get a job, you need to study and pass exams and, get a degree or whatever to get a job. To make love, there's no cost. So you go into a relationship blind and you get hurt and you come out. You go in, get hurt, come out. And the cycle becomes a vicious cycle that keeps growing. Because you don't get trained to be in a relationship. You have to learn. First, you got to find yourself. Second, you got to start loving yourself. Saying I love myself and actually loving myself is a two different things. Because when you love yourself, you find that you feel grace, you feel beauty. First, one of the fundamental things is this: you have to learn to walk. When you can walk, like say, a village African girl, when they're walking, carrying things on their head and walking, it's beautiful. It's an art form. Walking is an art form, which women used to have. And then because they get into this another form, which is trying to compete with the patriarchal system and trying to live in harmony with, finding the place, they have forgotten how to walk. Now you hear a baby elephant walking rather than a graceful lady walking, you know. So, like a lot of my students, I ask them to put a book on their head and learn to walk. Make sure that when the book stops falling is when you have started walking. Because you got to have a good balance. So you don't need a partner, actually. It's a good time for you to find yourself. Let go of your father. Let go of your issues of your father and the male issues that you have, and come into balance within yourself. Bring your male and female into real balance. And then you'll find your life would be a fun.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Anybody else with any questions?
Greetings, Vitakam. This is Tiffany from Goddess Temple of Love.
Yeah.
My question is, what mantra would you recommend for clearing cellular memory for someone who deals with sexual shame?
That one is a whole process of it. You have to learn, because with being abused, okay, or even having gone through relationship that didn't work, a lot of your organs get affected. Your womb gets affected, the first, and depending on whether the nurturing quality of life was not there for you, then you need to also activate the energy of that part of you. That means your heart chakra, your navel chakra, where all the information is registered, and then you got to retrain your brains to think differently. Now, so you need virtually first is the Om. You got to do Om, and then you want to do I'm, Brim. That is to clear your third eye, you clear your pineal gland and your pituitary gland. When you do that, you find a lot of comfort and strength in your brains. Then comfort and strength in the brains is not good enough. That is still the self, that is still the heart chakra, the navel chakra, the second chakra, and the base chakra that are affected when you hurt. Because from your brainstem, it goes all the way down to your spine, to your base chakra. So being hurt when it comes to emotional hurt, it's a lot more deeper. It goes down, as I said, from your third eye right down to your base chakra. The only thing that is free from the problems is your crown chakra. But when you've gone through that process, your crown chakra is also blocked because your pineal gland will be blocked. So you need to clean them all completely. And then you need to send the sound down to your womb, where you can do clean, clean, clean. So you send the sound down. You got to keep changing the frequency until you can feel it go down to your vagina. Then you find that area will be cleaned a bit more. It takes a process. The other part is actually get someone to sound into your womb. And that would be the fastest. But the person has to have a nice, you got to have the passion, the desire to do it for you, or desire to do it for anyone. It's a commitment, sound healing is not about, oh, I can do mantra so I can heal. It's a commitment, it's the passion, it's the desire to win, the desire to share, the desire to love. So principally, you got to start loving yourself, being able to communicate with yourself, finding the goodness of yourself. Have you got a camera on your phone, Janine?
I do, but I'm actually in the dark. We have a funeral today for my aunt, so I'm in the basement.
Okay.
And it's 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, it's 4:00 in the morning. Which part of the world are you from?
I live in Florida, but right now I'm in California.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you are attending the temple, goddess temple?
Yes, sir.
Okay, she will teach you the sounds. Yeah, and you got to make sure that you are committed to do it. It's not like you do, you have to commit. If you want to heal yourself, you got to commit at least minimum an hour a day until you're clean, because you need to remove all the cellular memories within your body to achieve that goal. And you deserve to do that. Okay, if you can get up at 4:00 in the morning to join me, then you are interested in making a difference. But what is more important is not just healing yourself, but making a difference. We need people to make a difference in this world, and especially women. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Anybody else with a question? Don't be shy, huh? I won't eat you up.
Babaji, it is Aja again. I would like to ask a question that you mentioned for those who are interested in practicing the Yabyum practice. And would you recommend, as you say, that they wear something very light, very thin, cotton, natural clothing, and while they do this practice, and then if they decide to engage in actual sexual activity after, that is still okay and part of the process, but the actual process is the sharing and the sharing of the mantra, circulating that through the body from the male's body to the woman and back, but wearing something very light first. I'm just reiterating what you said. Is that correct?
Yeah, they have to. It's good to wear cotton, 100% cotton or silk or linen. Actually, linen may be a bit thick. Silk and cotton, you can find them very fine cotton. But then when you're on that, you don't wear underwear or bra.
Yes.
Because they block the energy in a way. Unless you got, I don't know whether it's a lot of you wear pure cotton underwear. If you can get pure cotton underwear, then it's okay. But then if the question here is just, the reason for doing that is because you want to connect the second chakra energy first. The minute you take off your clothes completely, then you may not consistently be doing the Yabyum until you feel the energy. Okay, so to prevent that, you wear a garment that is pure cotton, and you work towards getting the energy we want to go back to the stage where you don't need engagement to feel love. Like in different dimensions, in different purer times, you didn't need to engage. Men and women felt orgasm just looking at each other. Then they had to touch each other. Now we need to engage to feel the same thing. But the engagement part of it doesn't give you the full result. You get only momental pleasure, which I normally call gratification. For long, prolonged connection with your partner, feeling that energy of orgasm all the time, you need to get the spirit talking again. Your spirit has to talk to the spirit of another person to get that connection working and enjoying it.
Thank you, Babaji. And this is, I shared in the online course with the sisters that are on that have taken it, that I shared a story with them before of one of these, of a practice in that way that my husband and I shared in that, and doing the mantras, and how that the energetic field, without any sexual intercourse, and the energetic field being expanded out so far that other people were able to recognize something that next day. So I've shared that story with them before. And so I wanted them to know that it was these practices of mantra and connecting in that way that was so powerful that you do continue to feel it, as he says, for a long time after any feeling that you will feel with just a bodily orgasm, that it really is like a full body experience, but it's beyond the body. And so the power of the mantras and what Babaji is sharing is what awakened that on that level. And until you experience it, Babaji always shares that it's an experiential practice. And so we do try to learn and intellectualize and understand, especially in the West, but the practices come alive when you actually experience and take the time to learn them and then to really experience. And then it all comes alive because it's a living tradition. So I want to thank you, Babaji, for all that you share and while you continue to share in your work, because it is so powerful. And so for those of you here that want to experience, directly too, you can work directly with Babaji. And when you do work with him directly, he will do your chart, your sidereal astrology, and give you specific mantras specific to you. It's not just, there are mantras, as he was sharing with you, that that we can all do and that work at specific points of the body. But when you work with him directly too, he will also do your chart and give you specific mantras to what is going on in your life, how you came here, what you came here to do, and to help you empower those things specifically to you in those ways. So it is very powerful to work with him directly also. So I just wanted to encourage those of you who do want to go deeper to reach out to him directly, and you can work with him directly on Zoom, on Skype weekly, and really get those transmissions directly from him, who is a living master, who we have the blessing to still have here with us. So thank you so much, Babaji, for all that you do. I'm so grateful for you and your work.
Oh, I'm grateful that you're around too. Because I need hundreds of you.
Yes, we talk. Babaji tells me all the time, so for those of you here, that I need an army of 100 women to do this work. And so I'm sharing this work with you all, and I'll continue to work with you more deeply with the practices, and for you to, again, be able to access him directly while he's here, so that we do create this army of love, this army of women who are armed with this power, this Shakti power, so that we can truly affect change, because it's not about any one of us individually, but the work that we can also do collectively is so much more powerful.
Because when you do it collectively, you bring about change, a lot more change to society. Because we need to save the next generation. at the rate things are going around the world, I listen to the news, I keep watching all these events that are happening, only to know how my teaching got evolved around it. And when I look at all of them, I feel the need for women to take over the world, take over the management of the world. It's very crucial. Only a woman will know another woman. Because Mother Earth is a woman too. She's the feminine energy, and only one feminine energy would know another. So only spirit knows spirit. So unless you connect back to your spirit, and whoever you want to be is also connected to his spirit or her spirit, then only you find the connection becomes full. Otherwise, it's basically physical, and it's basically, gratification based. Even the animals don't do it. Only humans do that now. We have given up our divinity. So let us work towards finding our own divinity. And the generations to come will thank you if you found that you have a good teacher with you. She's inspired, she's graceful, and she's getting more and more to becoming a powerful priestess. So watch her passion and learn from that passion that she shares with you. And Tantra cannot be learned from the mind. Books, you can read thousands of books. It makes no difference because it's about a way of life. Your life is not written in a book. It's written by experience. Okay, anybody else? Any questions? Actually, you know what? One of you can. So, one of you want to do some bija mantras? What you have heard so far?
It's a beautiful opportunity to do the mantra and allow Babaji to direct you in, if that is the correct way, or the tone or frequency to so that you are using that energy in the correct way. So I'm just encouraging them to, they've done some mantras with me. So I'm encouraging them to take advantage of the opportunity. You know, I'm on with Babaji every week, so I get to chant mantras with him. And it can be intimidating sometimes, you know, to see, it's, you know, this master, and he's going to listen to me do these mantras, and is it correct? But you do want to make sure that you're using the mantras properly, so that, you know, it's just an opportunity without, you know, working with him just directly one-on-one weekly to chant the mantras and allow him to guide you. So I'm just trying to encourage them to, if anyone wants to, and I know there's several sisters on here who have done mantras with us before, you know, to pop on. Yes, Lena. I knew Lena would pop on. Lena, Babaji, Lena is one of the 100 priestesses to come. She's so dedicated, and she's just so dedicated and so beautiful and so graceful, and she's so young right now in her 20s to be working and doing this work and learning. So she'll be very powerful. She's going to definitely be a powerful priestess, and so I'm happy that she stepped up to to put herself out there.
Thank you, Mama. I love you.
Which bija mantra you're going to do for me?
The one that Ajahn taught me, the Ganesha mantra.
Okay.
Sure, I have my wording correct.
You should have by heart by now.
I have it. I'm just nervous. It's like performing and singing. I'm a singer, and sometimes when I perform, I'm like, I forgot my words. It's just nervousness. Okay.
Okay.
Om. Shri Clean. Ganga. Ganapati Namo.
Okay, when you do the glom and gung, give it more power.
Okay.
Because you want it to go to the spine, back of your throat and go down all the way to the base chakra. So when you do that, glum, gung, the others you can be soft because like shreem, you want it around the heart. So you don't need to put a lot of emphasis on it. But the glum and gung, you want to blast because you want it to chip away all the cobwebs in your spinal area. Okay, that opens you up more. No, you did very well. Just the two sounds, because you did it the same tone as you did the other bijas. They're your emphasis bijas to denote Ganesh. They're both these two bijas are for Ganesh. Okay, the shreem, reem, clean, they're for the mother. So you're calling the three mothers, and then you're calling him. So you open up your heart. You open up your heart. You feel the inner beauty, and then you go and pounce and work through the whole spine. Okay.
I will do. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. So have a good journey in this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Babaji, I didn't know you were speaking. I was just telling her it was so beautiful. And because she's a singer too, she, some of the practice that Babaji had to remind me of is that it's to sometimes come out of the performer mind and come into the heart and the sound and the power of the sound, and not worrying so much how beautiful it is, but how that it's going to the right place, and that it's activating the power to activate where it needs to activate. And her voice is so naturally beautiful. She can't even help to have this beautiful sound that comes out when she does her mantras.
Yeah, you got to make sure that with mantras is not about how well you sound, but how deep the sound travels. You know, there's a difference between sounding like nightingale, but the sound not traveling anywhere. Then sounding like when you go nasal, it's sort of like more humming noise you want to make. But the shreem, only the glum and gum, you need to make sure that it's very nasal, very strong, because you want it to go hit the back of your spine and go down.
I have a question with the lam and gung. Where does it come from whenever you say it? Like from the diaphragm, like you push it through or pulse it through there so it could be be stronger? Yeah,
no, but basically I want it to go not even Klum, the secondary is, but the main is at your throat, using the power of your throat and power of the sound going backwards. Then you find the secondary sound will go down to your navel. So it's virtually the whole area. That's why it can clear the cobwebs in your spine. The other mantras, you don't do it in the same way.
I see. Thank you. I will be practicing.
Yeah, keep practicing. It'll get perfect. Yeah, Miss Robinson, sorry.
Yes, I actually wanted to try as well.
Okay.
I got excited and I put yes in the chat, and then I got sidetracked with trying to balance what I have going on in the background, but I did want to try. Okay. It would be the same mantra.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Shri Clean.
I don't hear the M very much.
Okay. Glum. Gang. Ganapate Nama.
Yeah, when you do you go, Shri Kareem. You got to do the sound where you hear the M is strong. Try again.
Shri Kareem. Clean. Glum. Gang. Ganapate Nama.
Okay. Now, can you just do the glum and gum for me?
Glum. Gang.
Okay. If you can put a bit more force on that. Glum. Gung. It'd be better.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Anybody else? Okay, next week I might sit down and do a new subject. You all can write to me on Facebook what you all like to learn, and then I'll see what subject that I can make out of it. But you got to write to me this week.
Babaji, before you go, there was one question in the chat that Amina asked that says, what about people who have issues with the breath, like with asthma when chanting, and they're short on their exhalations?
Oh, okay. If you have asthma, this one would be very good, but you got to learn to breathe as well. So every time you do all your bija mantras, all the bijas, don't take it anywhere else. Just focus on the heart. So when you go, you see that HRI, I didn't do it long. I just did it a short. HRI, I go.
And the scissors.
Patrice, you're unmuted, sweetheart. Patrice Porter, you're unmuted.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Shri between breathing, you find that the sound goes to the heart. And when it goes to the heart, it also goes to the lungs. And then what you do is this, you do a mudra, apana mudra, in both hands. So that you get the downflow energy, and then you find that the asthma gets better and better. Eventually you won't have asthma.
Thank you. Wow, that was awesome. Thank you.
Pleasure. Okay, thank you everybody for being here.